Right, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a high converting opt-in page that sucks in leads faster than a Dyson as part of our Less Tech, More Check series. What biggest problem I see online today is that people might spend a ton of money on paid advertising. They may spend a lot of time creating organic content to grow the audience, but the links and the funnels that they send people to suck, and it's losing them a shit ton of money, which is why today I'm going to be talking about the first step in the funnel, or the first step in the website process or the sales process, which is the opt-in page for a sales funnel. So this is for you if you are most likely online coach, agency owner, expert business, info product businesses, or even like local lead generation, so like local businesses like lawyers, dentists, etc., etc. If you are running any form of paid traffic to generate an email lead, this is going to help you, because I'm going to show you how to create the best possible opt-in page. Now, I've got some examples I'm going to show with you, and there's also some principles that I want to run through as well. So let's go into it. So the prosperity principles for creating opt-in pages are curiosity, less is more, and specificity. Can't say that word. So curiosity based. So one of the biggest problems I see is people will put too much information on the opt-in pages. And there's a few reasons why this is a big error. So number one, if someone has seen you online for the first time and they click a post or they click an ad and they go to an opt-in page, and the opt-in page is super long, it can look very intimidating to read, especially if they've never heard of you before. They're probably already in two minds of whether they should have clicked the link to begin with. And when they do click the link, you're making it hard for them by giving them lots of information and lots of text to read. And therefore, they're going to be like, it's not worth my time. I don't know this person well enough for it to be worth me to spend a few minutes to read through this page to figure out whether what they're offering is for me. By having too much text, or by putting a lot of text on the opt-in page, you think that, more information is better. It's going to convince them to opt in more, when it's actually couldn't be further from the truth with opt-in pages. Too much text, too much information hurts the conversion, because number one, people don't like you enough yet to want to give you like 5 minutes of their time while they read through your funnel page. So if it's too long, they're going to be like, it's not worth it for me. Number two, which is a big problem, if you give them too much information, then they're going to think two things, and I'll show you some examples in a second. They're going to think two things. I already know this information, so therefore I don't need to opt in. Or number two, I already know enough, so I can just go ahead and Google it myself. So let's just jump into some examples, and I'll make them points I just made a bit more real for you. So curiosity based. One of the best examples for this, and it's a super famous example, I just Googled it, I couldn't find the actual original page, but it's Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know who he is. And you can see this is his like original funnel hacks webinar, that I think this is like the famous one that blew ClickFunnels up, took it to, I don't even know how much in revenue, but this was like the webinar he like did for like 2 years straight, I believe, where he just ran it and it was converting super well. Now, have a look at the headline. My weird niche funnel that's currently making me, $17,000 per day. So there's a lot of curiosity in the headline. My weird niche funnel. Like, what does that even mean? Like, why is it weird? What niche is it in? Why is it niche? There's a lot of questions that need answered on this page, and therefore I am going to register because I want to find the answers, right? And then how to ethically knock it off in less than 10 minutes. Okay, well that's cool. That's very interesting. So again, it's using a lot of curiosity. Like, number one, why is it weird? Why is it niche? How is it making so much? Plus, how is it possible that I can just copy it in 10 minutes, right? So there's a lot of questions that need answered, and I'm going to opt in to get them. That's what you want. Don't want to provide all the answers on your opt-in pages and answer their questions. You want to create more questions in their head so they have no other option, because they want to know the answers so bad, to register. Also as well, he has this like weird image, and he even says himself like he doesn't really know what he's doing in this photo. Like, he's just making like a weird hand gesture, and he's holding something, and he's pulling like a bit of a weird face. Like, there's no relevance to this picture to actually what he's teaching. But it's just a bit of like an intriguing photo, and it's like, well, what? Like, is this the weird niche funnel that he's holding here? Like, but it looks like Amazon. Like, what's actually going on? Like, again, it leaves so many questions unanswered. You have to opt in to find out. So that's one of the biggest things. You have to create curiosity with the copy. If you would have gone here, so this could be, I don't actually know what he talks about, but my weird niche funnel, maybe it's his webinar funnel that he's actually promoting here. But if he would have put even if you used the word weird, my webinar funnel that's currently making me, learn my webinar funnel that's making me 17K a day. Well, if you would have told me that, then number one, if I've consumed content around webinar funnels before, then I'll come to this page and I'd be like, he's probably just going to teach the same thing about webinars that everyone else teaches. I already know the information, I'm not going to opt in. Or I'm going to go, okay, he's using a webinar funnel. I'm going to go to Google and YouTube, and I'm going to learn myself how to use a webinar funnel, and I'm going to make 17K a day. So by providing the answer to what you're like, by telling them directly what you're going to teach, you're giving them the opportunity to decide whether they've heard it before or figure it out for themselves. But using the curiosity-based headline, he has left you no other choice but to opt in because it's so intriguing. So that's prosperity principle number one. Prosperity principle number two is less is more. Now, I don't have the full opt-in page for what Russell Brunson is using here. I think this is a slightly longer page. He does have a few, I think it's probably more like this, where he has like secret 1, secret 2, secret 3. This is a different one, but you can see obviously he is like clearly modeled Russell Brunson, which, nothing wrong with. This looks like it. So this was his, right? It's fairly short, so he does provide a bit more information. I'd be very intrigued to see if he split tested this versus against a shorter version where it's just this top part. But for the most part, the general rule across the board is less is more. So again, you don't want to put too much information. You don't want to put about me's or bios on the page. You don't really want to go into like too much detail of what you're going to teach. Again, he has put secret number 1, 2, and 3 here. But again, if you read these headlines, these will be very curiosity-based secrets. How to clone their proven funnel in less than 10 minutes. So he doesn't teach you he's not telling you how he's doing it. He's just, again, piquing your curiosity. How to get the same customers to buy your products without knowing you exist. Like, again, it's all curiosity-based, all of this headline stuff. So even though he does give a bit more information, it's still actually not giving you any information, if that makes sense. But less is more. I want to show you another example of like one of the funnels that I've really enjoyed. It was a while ago since I've been running it. I had to use a software to get like an old opt-in page, but you can see here, right? It's from a guy called Steve. He runs, he ran, I don't know what they do right now, but he ran a company called Marketing Funnels Academy. And he basically, I think he was like an agency or a coach. But either way, he had this funnel, and I remember seeing it a few years ago. I think it was 2019. You can see this is from 2019, this funnel. And this was his opt-in page, right? Pretty ridiculous, right? People are talking about like having these like headlines and all this sort of stuff and all this like copy on the page. He literally has a 3-word headline and then a button. Fairy tale funnel, prove it. I don't know what his opt-in rate for this was, but I imagine back in the day, he got an extremely high opt-in rate. A few years ago, we actually modeled something similar to this. It was for a different offer and a different niche, and it was like different copy. We didn't do like a fairy tale theme, but like we had this style of opt-in page where there was nothing other than a box, a headline, email input, and a button. And I think at scale, we were getting like 40 to 50% opt-ins, and like thousands of people had opted in. So people will know who run funnels regularly, like at scale, to get an opt-in page to convert at 40 to 50% is very good. Market average is like 25%. And we were getting like 40 to 50% with this style of an opt-in page. I imagine he was probably getting something very similar for a very long time. Now, the reason why is less is more, because you don't have enough information to make a decision on this page, right? So you have to opt in. If he would have started telling us what he's going to teach, what's involved, how he does it, then I wouldn't opt into this. Just to give some context, he basically teaches people about funnels, and his ad was very well written. And he basically says, hey, go to this page, enter your email address, and I'll send you the video or I'll send you the information. So he doesn't need to give information on this landing page. But obviously the theme of the ad was around a fairy tale funnel. So obviously this page is very congruent with the ad you would have read before coming to this page. So obviously that plays a part in how simple this is. But my point is, this would convert better than most people's opt-in pages, and they could spend like an hour, or not even an hour, like a day building this high converting, in quotation marks, opt-in pages. Or you could just do something like this where you've got one headline and a button, and you could set it up in a matter of minutes. So less is always more. Again, with this example, Russell Brunson, you won't want it any longer than this. I'd be interested to split test this top part here and see if that performed better than giving them the extra info to read. So these are very combined. Less is more, curiosity based. Right? So that's prosperity principle number 2. Less is more. Don't give them the information. Prosperity principle number 3 is specificity. And Russell Brunson, this isn't a good example of it, but Russell Brunson does it very well here, right? He says he's very specific with the amount that it's making him, right? So my funnel that's making me 17,947 per day. Like if he would have just said a flat 17,000 or a flat 18,000, it actually loses a lot of power. It becomes more general and it becomes less real. Because it's like, oh, well, what are the chances that it's just obviously that you've rounded that number up, and you could be making that number up because you've rounded it up. When you are very specific like this, it's like, okay, he's going to actually show us this number, and it's very specific, so it must be true. Of course, he could completely make this up, but just the psychology behind being very specific, it makes it very powerful. If he didn't have like a specific number in his headline, you could be like, how to ethically knock it off in 7.5 minutes, right? That's more specific. That would probably work. It wouldn't work if you did both of these together, because that was probably overkill. Well, let's just say like his main headline didn't have any numbers in it. Then your sub-headline could be something very specific. Numbers are obviously very, very easy to do this with. And this is like a great example of it. So again, it actually ties into like curiosity as well. It's like, what, 17,947? It's such a specific number. Like, what's happening here? Another example here is a company called The Sales Mentor. Again, this is an older opt-in page. I don't even know why I picked this. Like, man, I must have seen this opt-in page like once in my life. I didn't really get targeted by them, but it's actually stuck with me that they use very specific numbers. So you can see here in the headline, $129 billion industry isn't that specific, but click play now to watch how 1,621 people learn the skill, right? So again, instead of saying click here to watch how thousands of people have learned the skill, that's not very powerful. It's a general number. It doesn't seem very real. Here, 1,621 people, it's like, okay, wow, they're literally counting each person one by one. Like, this is real, this is powerful, they must be telling the truth. Again, they could have made it up. I don't know if they did, but just the power in the specifics make it more believable and make it more intriguing, right? And even like, instead of like saying, but a phone and a PDF, a phone and a 6-page PDF, Obviously as well, the 6-page PDF doesn't sound that long, so therefore it sounds like easy to do. So that's why they've used that number there as well. But again, just a 6-page PDF adds in a lot of curiosity at the same time. They even do it here. Get the exact 23-minute video. Again, very specific, so they know exactly, how long it's going to be, rather than saying get the exact video or get the exact 30-minute video or 20-minute video. 23-minute video just sounds more powerful because, again, they're being very specific. And this page also as well uses a lot of the other principles. So again, less is more. They do have some bullets here, but again, it's not like the longest page in the world. But again, they've used exactly what Russell Brunson does, where the bullets that they add are actually very curiosity-based as well. And then again, they also use the first principle, which is curiosity. So they don't tell you what they are teaching, which is the important thing for this one. This high-demand skill can help increase wealth in a booming $129 billion industry. You have no idea what they are teaching in this, video/web class. Watch the video and learn how people learn this skill. They're not telling you what the skill is. That help take the cap off their earning potential on the schedule from anywhere in the world using nothing but a phone and a 6-page PDF. So if you don't know who these people are and what they teach, then they kind of tell you in the branding, the sales mentor, but they don't specifically tell you what they're teaching. And they have obviously done that on purpose because they don't want to teach you, they want to pique your curiosity. They're very benefit driven in their headline, telling you all the benefits of what this can help you achieve. They're making it sound very easy. All you need is a phone and a PDF. They're using social proof because they're saying, hey, these people, like over 1,600 people have learned this skill as well. But again, they're not telling you what the skill is. It is completely curiosity based. And again, they have done that 100% on purpose. And this is just a note if anyone is, well, actually, this can actually help for most coaches, especially in highly competitive industries where you've got a lot of competitors teaching similar things. So, for example, if you're coaching coaches, if you're a business coach, if you're teaching people how to grow an e-commerce business, if you're teaching people how to grow an Amazon FBA business, in those types of niches and industries, you need to be super curiosity based and not tell them what you're teaching them. For example, here, I just know in this page, they're teaching high ticket sales, right? They're teaching how to become a closer, how to become a salesperson for different businesses. You take the sales calls for a different business, you close them, and you take a commission, right? But they don't want to tell you that, because if it said becoming a salesman or becoming a high ticket closer or becoming a remote closer, become a high ticket closer, increase your wealth and be part of a $129 billion industry. I'm going to read it and I'm going to be like, okay, so they're teaching me how to become a salesperson. Number one, I'm going to think, I don't like sales. I'm not going to do it. Number two, I'm going to be like, I've heard about high ticket sales from people like Dan Locke. I'm not going to watch this again because it'll be the same information. Or number three, okay, they're telling me I need to be a closer. Okay, I'm just going to go and Google that myself and figure it out. Right? So if they tell you what the skill is, there's no curiosity and there's no reason for me to opt in, right? So it's the same with all the other different niches as well. So if you're teaching people how to grow a Shopify store, the last thing you want to do is on your opt-in page be like, learn how I build, Shopify stores that make $1 million. Right? That's like the last thing you want to do. It's like my weird niche business that generates me, $79,823 every single month. Right? My weird niche business that could just be like a branded Shopify store. but you don't tell them it's a Shopify store. Especially now, because there's so many people teaching ecom that like they come to a web class registration page and they can see the word drop shipping, or they see the word e-commerce, or they see the word Shopify. They just will switch off and they'll be like, already know what you're going to talk about. But if you say my weird niche business that generates me $79,221 every single month, then obviously then they're going to be like, what is it? I don't know what he's talking about. Sounds interesting, sounds specific. He doesn't give me enough information to make a decision on the page. Therefore, I'm going to opt in, right? So that's how you get leads. That's how you generate leads. That is how you create a high converting opt-in page that sucks in leads faster than a Dyson, is by going short, less is more, curiosity-based headline, and using specifics where you can.